there's a big name out on the free agency market in the RB department. His name is Nick Chubb. Now, he's a big name, but he's been oft injured. He's landed on IR each of the last 2 seasons. He's had a lot of injuries throughout his NFL campaign. He's 29 years old, but he's on the comeback trail. He's been doing a lot of training in the offseason. We just saw videos on Twitter within the last week. They're pretty impressive.
The way he's hopping over those hurdles.
He's at the Georgia workout room. I don't know if that's got to be on the Georgia campus, or maybe that's his own personal workout room in Georgia, logos. I don't know, but to have those 3 hurdles where he just takes 1 or 2 steps and jumps over all 3 in succession makes it appear that he's pretty healthy. And he seems to be back.
He's got some spring in those legs.
And
no doubt about it.
If you're a Commanders fan, do you have interest in adding him to your RB room? Now, he's 29 years old. He's oft injured, but he is a super hard worker, and he would fit in perfectly with Dan Quinn and the whole brotherhood and camaraderie mantra that has worked so successfully here for Dan Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to outwork Nick Chubb.
No.
That dude is a grinder. There's another video of him, I think, power cleaning 405 pounds. He's a powerful dude.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, can he still be productive? Can he stay on the field? Because when he came back last year, coming off his injury, he just did not look like the same player. He averaged 3.3 yards per carry, wasn't very productive. Now, he's on a bad team.
That was a bad team with no passing offense.
He's on a bad team with not a lot of weapons. So is it more the team? Is it the fact that he's just diminished now as a player?
He doesn't look diminished. He looked like he had a lot of spring to him.
Yeah, but he was doing that before last season too. His off-season workouts, he was, squatting a freaking billion pounds.
Right.
So, and I told Cakes, I said, Cakes, Nick Chubb's going to come back and he should be a 1st or 2nd round fantasy pick. He goes, no chance.
Yeah.
You can't pick him that high.
Right.
He would be like a mid to late round pick.
Mm-hmm.
I picked him pretty late.
Okay.
And I started him and he did nothing for me.
Right. He was,
and then he broke his foot.
This during the break. He was if you played fantasy last year, and of course we looked through a lot of fantasy lenses here, he was like a high upside potential lottery ticket.
Right.
That you would stash on your bench. You hoped he would come back and be, like a semblance of his old self.
Right.
The guy who was just struck fear into the hearts of people, just hard runner.
Right.
1,000+ yard runner, multiple seasons in Cleveland. He wasn't the same guy.
And he missed the first month because he was on the physically unable to perform list.
Right.
But then when he finally came back and he played 8 games, then he broke his foot and ended the season. So basically he's missed the last 2 years.
Right.
Would I give him a shot? I wouldn't give him a lot of money. I'd give him a shot to come into camp and see what he has.
Got no problem with
I got no problem with that. Again, it's upside. So you might hit the lottery ticket. But don't bank on it because he's not the same player he was 2 years ago.
Look, it's a pretty crowded running back room here, at least in Washington. Now, he's probably a better fit elsewhere because they're bringing the whole band back, and they drafted a kid in the 7th round out of Arizona to add to the mix. So, unless they're willing to just part ways with Brian Robinson or deal him, is there even room for Nick Chubb? Because they re-signed McNichols.
Right.
Eckler's still here. Brian Robinson is still here. Rodriguez is still here. And they added a draft pick.
Yeah, but if Chubb came in and really impressed you, you get rid of one of the or 2 of those
And again,
guys.
if you brought him in, it would be a 1-year veteran minimum, loaded with incentives.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
So
I'm fine with a low-risk signing.
I would do that.
And then the other guys, remember, anyone's eligible for practice squad these days, right? You can put a veteran, 10-year veteran on practice. So not that you would put him, but maybe you would put McNichols if you had to, if he beat him out.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of low risk, very little, if any, guaranteed money, of course, bring him in. Competition makes everybody better.
Doesn't hurt you.
No problem.
Yeah.
We did put this up as
he would be worth that.
We put this up as the Junkies poll of the day. Should the Commanders sign Nick Chubb? Junkies poll of the day brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka, Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Perfect addition to any gathering. Each can only 100 calories with 0 carbonation. That means easy sipping. You can find Surfside at your local bars and in convenient variety 8-packs at your local liquor stores. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. I saw you tweeted a picture of what's your new favorite flavor, EB?
Oh, dude, black cherry lemonade.
That's always been my favorite.
Of course, I've had it.
I don't know why I hadn't had that one. It's a blind spot.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the strawberry lemonade was absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my top 2 seeds. See, we have similar sweet tooth.
I mean, that's if you like sweet drinks. That thing was. I had it on the golf course yesterday, and I couldn't believe it.
It was nice and warm yesterday, so the cold one probably hit so hard.
Yeah, I usually don't drink on the golf course, to be honest with you, but it was a rough day, so I said, "Give me one," and it was the greatest thing I ever did. So good,
very good.
What?
Nick Chubb, by the way, in his first 5 years, here are his rushing totals.
Well, he was a stud.
996, 1494, 1067, 1259, 1525. And his low water mark for touchdowns in those 5 seasons was 8. And he did that 3 years.
I would think.
But remember, he tore his MCL and ACL.
He's had devastating injuries.
But when did those injuries occur? Not last year, right?
No, that was 2 years ago.
But he's been on the IR.
It was
the
last
first
2
seasons.
It was the first or second game.
Right.
Remember, he was the first second game of the season.
Yeah.
But they say oftentimes it takes 2 years to really, like, guys can come back in 6 months. But to really get everything back, to really get everything back, it could take a full year and a half, 2 years.
So, Commanders fans, you can call us at 800-636-1067. Are you yay or nay on Nick Chubb being added to the RB room here for 2025?
Yeah. I mean,
fine with
for
it,
veteran minimum with a bunch of incentives.
Yeah,
so if he gets to 750 yards or 1,000 yards, you pay him a bunch of money.
Sure.
Or a certain amount of touchdowns. I get it. But you just have to beware of what you're getting. He's not the same runner.
Right.
But maybe some other team says, you know what? We'll give him a lot of money for 1 year. You know, whatever, $10 million we'll give you for 1 year. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing out a number. There might be a team that says we're going to overpay you because we think we can
if
get
they feel
what
like he's like the missing piece.
We
for
think
them.
we can get the numbers that you gave us, gave your team 3 years ago. I just don't think he's going to give you that. But again, he was with a bad passing offense. I mean, he didn't have more than 59 yards in any game last year.
He would have a lot wider running lanes potentially here in Washington with Jaden Daniels under center than he ever would in Cleveland.
Right.
In his entire career in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's had nothing but horror show quarterbacks in Cleveland.
Awful.
Aside Baker Mayfield for like one season, one-off season.
Our pal Zach Kruger tweeted us, maybe worth a dart throw, but we should also apply the idea that the combine doesn't mean anything to old players coming back from bad injuries. Plenty of these guys can still impress in workouts, but not on the football field.
I mean, I'm sure there's something to that. Like the jumping over the hurdles is great. It's a great visual, but can he elude defenders? Can he stay off the injury list? Like those are big questions.
Well, the video is impressive, but I remember some people being impressed when Mike Tyson was putting out videos before he fought Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And then the whole world was upset that they watched that fiasco.
True. Maybe you're talking about a 59-year-old guy versus a 28-year-old guy.
But every team knows that. Every team knows that who's interested.
I think it's different than the videos that Jason was talking about before of like lifting and showing his strength a year ago.
Yeah.
Did he have those videos hopping over the hurdles? The same exact?
I mean, I don't know if he had those.
That shows real explosiveness in the legs.
When I saw the videos of him squatting all those plates, I said, okay, well, he's back. And that's why I drafted him. But I got nothing out of him. Literally.
I told you not to overdraft him.
You did. You were right. I was wrong.
Here's the most jarring number to me is that he averaged 5 yards per carry in 2022 when he played 17 games, and that cratered to 3.3 yards per carry this most recent season.
Yeah,
and that wasn't even a small sample size. That was on 102 attempts.
Yeah,
like that's not
the
on
same guy.
30 or 50 or 60 attempts. That's triple-digit attempts, 3.3 yards per carry.
Yeah, I mean, they tried. Cleveland tried to give it to him, but it wasn't working. But, of course, it didn't help that they had a terrible passing offense. Every team probably targeted him.
I would have mild interest in Nick Chubb. Like, as long as he's amenable to a 1-year team-friendly deal, loaded with incentives, well, I'd bring him in.
Have they even been rumored, or is it just just throwing it out?
Just throwing it out there. I mean, Drab told me he's been rumored to the Bears as a team.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be interested in him, and I would think that kind of makes sense because with Ben Johnson there now, like he could be the David Montgomery-esque running back in his scheme because he already has DeAndre Swift, who's the good pass catcher out of the backfield. So they could kind of be like in tandem.
I feel like, to be honest, at this stage with his injury history and everything, he's more of a break glass midseason signing when everything, like, you get an injury.
Could be the case.
More than
I wouldn't hate
off season, but it doesn't hurt if you could convince the guy to come in for very little guaranteed money. But with his resume, he's probably not going to do that. He's probably one of those guys who would rather stay home and wait for the call when someone gets hurt than just go in and be somebody's camp fodder.
Well, what's the veteran min number?
I don't know that. I mean, I can look it up.
$2 million.
He's like a 7 or 8 year vet.
Probably not that much.
So let's say it's 2. I mean,
I don't even think it's that much, Jason.
It might not be. I'm just throwing out a number, but a low number. So maybe a team's willing to give him
$800,000 or something, which is a lot of money, but it's not compared to what he's made.
So maybe there's a team that says, "F it, we got plenty of money under the cap."
I just don't know if he has the luxury to just sit at home and wait for a call. Like, I feel like his numbers have dipped, and he's at the age where he's got to go out and just prove himself all over again.
Right, but some of these guys have made so much money that they don't want to expose their body to more harm. The juice has to be worth the squeeze. You got to make it worth my while. I'd rather retire than come back and play. It's not about necessarily playing football. It's about providing for my family, and I don't want to do it for that little.
The min salary for players with 7+ years of experience is $1.2 million.
Okay.
All right, so there you go, 1.2. But maybe there's a team that goes, all right, we'll give you 3.
There could be.
Guaranteed. Here, come be the old Nick Chubb. Plus incentives.
He would jump at that in a
There might be.
I think he'd take that in a millisecond.
I mean, it's not like every team is completely strapped with the cap.
Yeah.
I also like the rookie that we drafted. To be honest with you, I know he's a 6th or 7th round. I can't remember which one. 7th rounder. I actually like what I saw. He only played 1 game this year because of the eligibility issues we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I heard him on the air yesterday with Grant and Danny, I believe. Maybe it was with B. Mitch and Finley. I always get confused when I'm listening to the station, but seemed like a good kid.
Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, JCM.
I have almost no doubt that they're drafted good kids. You know what I mean? Like, they don't seem to be the type that are drafting the Mike Greens.
I think Cakes brought this up. There was a graph of that new athletic score that they're talking about.
The RAS, Relative Athletic Score.
They were number 1.
They're at the top of it.
You know who was dead last?
How about them Cowboys?
Really? Were they?
Dead last.
I guess Jerry Jones doesn't believe in that.
DFL. That's where they were.
Very interesting. All right, let's go to Jake. 800-636-1067 if you want to chime in. Jake, what's up, buddy? What do you think?
Ricky's, what's up? Happy Thursday, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Friday Eve.
Hey, so let me tell you, Nick Chubb, zippy interest, all right? He's the exact same player we have on the roster in Brian Robinson Jr. And if you look at what Adam Peters has done with the draft and putting the offensive line together with Tunsil, you want some big athletic. You want to talk about RAS scores. A guy like Brandon Coleman kicking it into left guard, you need some speed in that backfield. Because Coleman, when he gets to the second level on those defenders, he's going to plow through them like AB's wife plows through a snowy driveway. All right? So we need a guy with speed. We need a guy that can get out in the open space, and Nick Chubb is not that at this point in his career.
Mm-hmm. No, I would probably agree with that. I mean, if you could get Nick Chubb pre-ACL tear, I mean, he's one of the best in the league, but he's a completely different player.
Right.
It's almost 50-50. You can vote at Junks Radio. Interesting. I thought it was going to be overwhelming. Like, bring him in.
Yeah. Well, especially if you could bring him in at no cost. Like, no one should ever have a complaint when you could bring somebody in and you just cut them for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, of course. I'm sure they probably even called them and said, "Hey, does he want to come in?" Well, we can't guarantee him anything, but if he's looking for a camp, we'd love to have him. Why wouldn't you?
I mean, $1.25 million.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
you do that in a heartbeat.
That's pennies.
It's a roll of the dice, but
there might be, like I said, there might be a team that says, "F it,
right?
We'll give you $4 million."
There could be, and if that's the case, you say, "Best of luck to you. Enjoy your $4 million from the Raiders or whoever decides to sign you. Best of luck."
What do you think of that receiver that I talked to whoever we had on a couple of days ago about the receiver that they got? They played in Alabama for a year, and then
Corey Brooks.
Yeah. He's not a speed guy, but he's a size guy.
We waste so much time talking about 5th and 6th receivers.
I mean, they've got so many receivers on the roster right now.
Yeah,
they've got a ton.
I just like the potential. I like the red zone potential.
I care about
how many guys have we heard about that in like preseason?
Terry McLaurin,
you care
Debo.
Yeah.
Okay, the headliners.
I like all of them.
I mean, look, you've got.
I like the studs.
You've got Debo. You've got Noah Brown. You've got obviously T-Mac. You've got McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. You draft Lane. They brought in Michael Gallup.
Almost forgot about him.
I mean, they've got like
no one's talking about Gallup.
Yeah.
No one's talking about.
They brought in they've got like 6 or 7 guys.
He's your Nick Chubb of the wide receiver group.
Yeah, if he's got anything left, he's got anything left, though, it's a good signing.
Yeah, they brought him in. They obviously thought it was worth something.
All right, we come back, EB. We're going to talk about Gen Zers. They're basically raw dogging it on the way to the office in the mornings on their commute.
It's a little saucy term there, Cakes.
They're tilting fellow commuters. We'll describe what they're doing, what those wacky Gen Zers are doing next.